Woohoo! Huh? Ah! Hey everybody, welcome to Polls with Ryan, where we discuss life's greatest mysteries via Instagram polls. If you join my Instagram, you'll be able to join in on the story and make your own vote. So as you see here, we have Italian food versus Mexican food. Which food is better? We have pizza, we have lasagna, and then on Mexican, we have burritos and tacos. That's why it's Taco Tuesday. It's a whole day. And as you see here, we have a ton of Mexican food. We have burritos, elotes. I'm going to butcher a lot of this, so if you speak Spanish, I apologize. Refried beans, fajitas, menudo, nachos, sopes, and the list goes on. It's amazing the amount of different types of Mexican food we actually do have in California. I feel like it is definitely a East Coast. East Coast. Yeah, it's definitely East Coast. It's definitely a West Coast thing because East Coast doesn't know what Mexican food actually is, and I apologize for that. So if you're on the East Coast, move. And then on the Italian side, we have pizza, lasagna, some of the big ones. You have gelato, cannolis. Obviously, they're huge on pasta. Now we're going to discuss it through your guys' comments. So up first, we have my fiance. Man, she's cute. Because pizza is God's gift to the world. Obviously, she voted Italian. Now, I'm all for that. Pizza is one of the greatest things in the world. Next up, we have Jeremy. Italian is better because it doesn't make you blow out after you eat it. Now, clearly he's talking about pooping, I think. It's true, but I feel like a lot of pasta will back you up. I might have to say Italian, but that might be because I grew up with Mexican all my life, and I like to change it up. Hey, Nick, I appreciate that. Plus, Italian has really good desserts. Yes, it does. Choice would have gone either way. Both Italian and Mexican have so many different options and styles of food. However, I like Italian better, so that's why I picked it. All right. Sometimes you can have amazing food on both sides, but you just like one a little bit more than the other. My family makes Mexican food all the time. I'm guessing he voted Mexican food then. That's great. He's really white, so that's really good that there's some Mexican culture in there. Italian food slaps, but Mexican is just supreme. If it's any craving you have, because it's just that good. You broke? Mexican food. You ballin'? Fancy Mexican food. You can't find an Italian food truck in the street, can you? Nah, but there's some taco trucks. Listen, that's a great point. One of the best food, obviously, for tacos are street tacos. You have so many different options. Mexican food is culture. I mean, who doesn't love Mexican food? That is true. Mexican food does have a lot. I mean, it is a really cool, and the culture is really amazing too. Can't beat chips and salsa. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can't beat chips and salsa. But I always feel like I can eat much more food and not feel as full with Italian foods. I feel like because the portions in like beans and rice and tacos like are a lot smaller, whereas the portions for Italians are like way bigger. Obviously both sides of the family, like they feast when they eat. But yeah, I totally get being able to kind of do more munchies, I guess, where you can chips and salsa and guac and have a taquito, and you can have a taco, and you can have, part of a burrito. Let's be honest, no one's eating a part of a burrito because I'm Mexican and grew up on it. Listen, it's as simple as that. Sometimes you just grow up, is childhood nostalgic, and you just live it and love it. You can never go wrong with the carne asada burrito. That's why. One of the greatest burritos, I have to say. It is really, really good. Now, the key is, and the question is, and you put it in the comments below, for a California burrito, do you want potatoes or French fries? I feel like there's more of a variety with Mexican food. I don't really like Italian food because it makes me feel bloated and gross afterward. Secret's out. Don't give her Italian food. That's fair. I mean, definitely with all the cheese that goes into Italian food, lasagna, like layers of cheese, it definitely can back you up. It's the opposite of Mexican food. What you should do is have a lasagna and then have some like crazy hot salsa, and it just kind of easy choice. I could also have tacos and a burrito at any point in the day. Can't do that with Italian. It's too heavy. It is too heavy with like lasagna, because I think that's the first thing we go to, right? Pizza and lasagna, a little bit heavier foods, but like a thin crust pizza, I think that keeps it pretty light. Mexican. A huge variety, tacos, burritos, nachos. We gotta talk about those nachos, etc. Many sauces, meats, everything. I'm always in the mood for Mexican food, and you can never go wrong. Listen, that is awesome. I don't know if nachos are actually... I mean, I did list them because, I mean, I went to one of the most official sites, Wikipedia, and they did list nachos as a Mexican dish. But yes, you can never go wrong. I feel like, again, with both of these dishes, you're not going to walk into someone's house and be like, ugh, Italian? You made lasagna? This is extremely hard for me to answer, so I think I will create a fake account so I can vote for both. Found out she didn't vote for either. Mexican is gross and hurts most people's butt. I guess Italian's the opposite, just clogs up the butt. I think we've had a good discussion. There's both sides of it. I think it's really tough. I think the accessibility, things we have to think about is price. Like Italian food is usually a little bit more expensive going out somewhere. Definitely, you know, pasta's cheap in store, where like carne asada and tortillas, like, you know, going to the store is always going to be equal, I feel like. But then you go into a restaurant, and yes, you know, going into a taco shop, spending, like the other day actually, when I was getting all these pulls, I had a breakfast burrito, and it was like $9 and or $7, excuse me. And I'm like, that's a great value. Where if I were to go to an Italian restaurant for pizza or just pizza in general, it is definitely a lot more pricey. But then you talk about accessibility. Like if you are on the East Coast, you don't have good Mexican food. You may not even know what that actually is. Where California, we're really spoiled with all sorts of foods. Here are the results. We have 24% Italian, 76 voted Mexican percentage, and then you see the votes on the right there. 22 votes for Italian, 67 for Mexican. So it is clear Mexico wins. I personally would go towards Italian. Like lasagna and pizza, unfortunately, trump a breakfast burrito, or not breakfast burrito, a burrito or a taco plate. Yes, both foods are incredible, but having a really, really well-made, you know, meat sauce and cheese on a multi-layer, you know, homemade pasta lasagna with some like garlic cheese bread. Sorry, Italian wins. But again, accessibility, and I think any time of the day, running out to a taco shop, hang out with friends, and getting Mexican, I think more accessibility. And I think that's why we eat more Mexican food as a whole. And I think that's why we voted that way. And those are the poll results. Thank you so much for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Instagram so you can be a part of the next poll that goes out. I'm really stoked. This has been a blast for me, and this is only the tip of the iceberg. I'm hoping to have so much more to this channel. And thank you for all your guys' support. I'm having a ton of fun. So comment below what poll you think should be next, and I'll see you guys next time.